Folks, Turbine Guy coming back at you. Today in sweltering Florida, I'm working on a 2007 Mustang GT with a 4.6 liter in it that's got a bit of an issue with the alternator. It works fine and it'll start the car unless you got to run the air conditioning and you want to play the radio. Once you start doing that, it's just a little too much for the big thing. And down here in Florida, you need the AC in a black car this time of year. Something else I recommend is taking pictures before you get started and along the way, just in case you got a question of where things go. If you're one of those kind of people that needs to know what size wrenches to use and sockets and all that, you're watching the wrong video. I'm going to trust you to do the right thing. I'm just going to give you a couple of quick tips here. My main goal is to make sure something that looks a little bit daunting like this was when I first came down and looked at it, and I haven't watched a YouTube video, I want to make that a little bit easier for you so you can get right to it and get it done. Because you know what? They wanted over $600 to replace this alternator, and I got it and a serpentine belt. You know, you always want to change that serpentine belt if you're doing something like this. I got them for a little under $230 at Advanced Auto. First thing you always want to do is get your appropriate adult beverage going, and today I got some Kona helping me out. And then you want to pull out, boom, the alternator, and you want to see how it goes together. Now this one's a little unique that on the bottom it's got a couple of slip holes instead of real holes, and on top there it's got a couple of bolt holes. And if we take a look, that's exactly how this baby's set up. A couple of bolt holes on top, a couple of slip holes down there on the bottom. But in order to get at this baby and make it look so simple, I had some work to do. You know, as usual, you got to pull off some air stuff and then start your digging. And what I had to do was pop up the whole air plenum, the whole air intake after that. It's really not as hard as you think. You got to take off the fuel injector rails on each side, which is not only a couple of bolts, but 4 little clips each. Once you take the bolts off for the fuel injectors, these babies just pop right out. And then this has 1, 2, 3, 4 bolts on the outside, but also 1 right there on both sides on the inside. Once you have all those wires disconnected from the plenum, the air intake, you pull the bolts out, get it ready to go, boom, you just flip it up backwards like I did, and you got all kinds of room. If you have the opportunity ahead of time, like I did not, you might want to order a few new gaskets for the fuel intake there. These look good to me. And one other thing you want to do, get your vacuum out, suck everything out of here you can so you don't get nothing in the engine. Changing out that serpentine belt turned out to be a good idea because this baby is cracked up some. I won't have to worry about that. Now I put in and tighten these bolts after I laid the 2 bottom bolts on, just so they'd all be in the right place, and then I tighten the 2 bottoms. With the CarQuest alternator installed with a brand new DriveWorks belt, I'm ready to start putting it back together. I have the plenum back on. I got all the bolts in. What you want to remember when you tighten these is you always want to start in the middle, here and on the other side. Then you go here, 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 and X your way to the outside so that the thing lays down flat. Right, she's all back together now, ready to go. You can see way down in there is that alternator. Let's fire it up and make sure it's done. See it running smooth as silk in there. You have just witnessed another successful Turbine Guy car repair. Turbine Guy signing out.